Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Denton Day, 30 minutes from right now, previewing the college football playoff final between Indiana and Miami. We'll be talking about it with him. Looking forward to that discussion. But I want to start with the NFL in hour number 2 here. Just got kind of a grab bag of some opinions and thoughts from what was a really, really great weekend of NFL football. You had the one absolute clunker between the Niners and the Steelers, but you had 2 overtime games. And then I thought an entertaining game between the Patriots and the Texans. I'll start with that. It's like the lowest hanging fruit here, so I'll go with the lowest hanging fruit. The Texans have a really good head coach. They have a great defense. And I don't know if they have the quarterback. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I watch the Texans every week. I'm not watching the Houston Texans every Sunday. But I've watched them the last 2 weeks. And I have seen nothing over the last 2 weeks to indicate to me that C.J. Stroud is a dude. Nothing. He looks awful out there. He looked ridiculously terrible in the Pittsburgh game, and I thought he was atrocious against New England. Like, I get it. It's not great conditions. I get it. You're on the road. I get it. The Patriots have a good defense. They're well coached. He looks terrible. He was 20 of 47 in the NFL. In this era where you get the ball out and you get it into space and you hit on 60, 64, 66% of your throws. He's not even sniffing 50% in this game. Turning the ball over, he drops snaps against the Steelers. He just looks terrible to me. And that's like a frightening thing to feel like you've got so many things in your organization aligned properly, from the coach to the personnel to the defense. And then all of a sudden you look up and you go, yeah, but the most important player's not that good. And I think they won in spite of C.J. Stroud to this point. And once you got to play a good team, he just doesn't have it. He, to me, looks bad. Do you have any thoughts on that, Jordan?
Yeah, man, I really think that the Texans are in a very sticky situation with his 5th-year option coming up over this offseason, him and Bryce Young. And it's really, you really was looking at, it's crazy because he started off so hot in 2023.
He did.
And it's just slowly cooled off each year as time has gone on and as the team has gotten better. So that's the problem. The team has gotten better and the quarterback is not elevating that team.
Nope.
So now you're in a situation where it's like we can kind of just get anybody to come play quarterback for this team. So,
all right, let's go to another game. Bills-Broncos. I just got a little bit of a tough time pinning this on Josh Allen. Like, I don't know if anybody's doing that, but you look at the path for him and you have no Lamar and you have no Burrow and you have no Mahomes, and it looks like you're the alpha in this league. You're the alpha in this conference. You got to go on the road, but you're the alpha. And I know he had the 2 interceptions, but I just have a hard time pinning that one on him. He went on the road to Denver, one of the best defenses in the National Football League, one of the best pass rushes in the National Football League, and they scored 30 points. They scored 30. And have a hard time pinning the 33 too hard on McDermott because it's your defense is so hurt. They're so banged up. Buffalo's defense has just been ravaged by injuries. I know he lost his job today, and I understand. Like, there's an expectation in this era of Bills football because you've got maybe the best player in the league. And he's playing the most important position, and you haven't even gotten to the Super Bowl yet. So I understand that there are expectations that come with it, but this was tough, man. And you look at the call and the interception that everybody's been debating, and everybody's kind of got their take on it. Based on the still pictures that I'm seeing and my interpretation of the rule, that feels like it is not an interception to me. Like, it feels like a catch to me. The ball could be thrown a little bit further out. I get that. It wasn't a perfect throw. But I tweeted this out. It just gave so many Eric Reed vibes from the play that he made in Tuscaloosa in 2011, where the ball's, I mean, it's a kind of the same type of situation. That would have probably gone for a touchdown or down to the 1. And this one would have put them in striking distance. And instead, you're out because you get the interception and then get a couple of interference calls the other way on Trey White. And that is interference. Like, he's clubbing the hand as you run down the field. To me, great coaching by Sean Payton, great win by Denver. I'm not going to knock Josh Allen too hard on this. He scored 30 on Denver's defense on the road in frigid conditions. That's oftentimes going to be enough to win. They went 12-5 this year. I have a hard time pinning that one on Josh Allen. And then, of course, the big news there is that Bo Nix can't play moving forward. Just a freakish thing to have happen. This is a sports writer thing, and I don't think it may be interesting to everybody out there, but I was just thinking about the newspaper reporters in there who are walking into that press conference with Sean Payton thinking about what they're going to write, and it's about, you know, breaking through and beating the Bills and advancing to the conference title game and doing it, you know, post Peyton Manning era and getting back to where you're supposed to be and being the seed that they were, and like you've got all these storylines to go through, and plus it was a great game, and then all of a sudden you have to just trash all that and boom, go straight to Bo Nix is out for the year because he broke his foot on some QB power run that he got up from. I know he like limped a little bit, but like just a stunning development there post game, and you feel like that's probably it for Denver. I have a hard time believing they're going to go to the Super Bowl and win it with Jarrett Stidham playing quarterback. Not that Bo Nix is an MVP candidate, but like he's better than Jarrett Stidham. So I think that's a tough deal for the Broncos. Then you go to the Rams and Bears. This game was awesome. This was the well overused meme cinema. This was it. I hate the notion that 0 degrees and snow is quote unquote football weather, but aesthetically it looks kind of cool. It looked like a movie script. And I heard Dan Big Cats on Barstool say this. It was my exact thought as well. When Caleb Williams backs up on 4th down and wings that ball into the end zone, and then Kmet catches it for a touchdown, I looked at the TV and I said, they're going to win the Super Bowl. They are going to win the Super Bowl. And I guess I've been caught doing that twice now that because I just thought Ole Miss was just serendipity. There was just too many things breaking their way, and it was just going to happen for them, and it didn't. And same thing happened to the Bears. It didn't happen for them. But that throw and catch just can't happen. And everything the Bears have needed for 3 months, it appears they have gotten. And it was an answered prayer almost. And then they couldn't get it done because McVay and Stafford and that organization is just really good. And for them to go out in those conditions on the road and get that done was just really impressive. The one thing that this game made me think about as I was watching it, and this is what I teased entering this segment, I'm going to have to soften my stance on these coaches refusing to kick field goals, because clearly they've got to be onto something that I'm not figuring out. And I know Lane Kiffin now coaches my favorite football team, so I got to figure that out too. But it's the best way I can put it. I've heard this multiple times. This feeling that a field goal is -4 points instead of +3 points feels ridiculous to me. Like, people that feel like if you kick a field goal, you're giving up 4 points because you're not getting a touchdown. I reject that notion. But so many coaches are doing it. And you saw Ben Johnson do it. And the best breakdown I heard of it was he did it twice. And it worked once and it didn't work one other time. But if you would have kicked both field goals, you'd have gotten 6. If you go 50% there, get 1 touchdown, and you come up empty once, that's 7 points. So I guess the theory is for it not to work, you'd have to miss both times. I think 3 points, especially in that game. Do you see those defenses? You see those elements? Like, getting a 3 on the board to me is a good thing. But these coaches they get inside the 20 and they're like, we're not kicking field goals. We have to go score a touchdown. I get it if you're Jaden Daniels' LSU team from 2 years ago, okay? You never get stops and you got the best quarterback in the game. Okay, you can go for some fourth downs. That's fine. But in this game went 17-17 in overtime. 3 points is a big deal. These coaches don't want to do it. You're watching these games. You're a young buck. You thinking we're not kicking field goals?
It's completely this new day and age Madden. Like, I'm not punting the ball. I'm not doing nothing. Like, it really just feels like Dan Campbell has opened up Pandora's box on the NFL. Because I swear he started it. Well, in my recollection, I feel like Dan Campbell's like the first coach just hourly being like, you know what? We're going for it every fourth down. I don't care what scenario. I'm throwing fake punts. I'm doing anything under the sun to get an advantage. And, Ben Johnson comes from that tree, and he's ultra aggressive too.
Yep.
At the same, he's super aggressive. Like you said, just saw it last night. He's super aggressive. So I think I can't disagree with their logic because these people are getting paid millions of dollars to do football. So they obviously know something we don't know.
It's just the new philosophy. Question for you.
Yes.
I will give you either the Seattle Seahawks or the Broncos, Patriots, and Rams. Super Bowl champion. You taking the Seahawks? You taking the other three?
Man, that's a hard one, man, because Seahawks looks like the actual Legion of Boom.
I didn't watch the second half of that one.
There's no point.
I did not watch the second half of that game.
I seen enough. Once honestly, after the Rashid Shaheed touchdown, I was like, you know what? We can wrap this one up. I mean, that felt like 2015 Seahawks, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, like just 12th man boom explosion. So, man, that's a rock and a hard place because I seriously.
I don't think you want Denver anymore.
I'm done with that. I don't need to see y'all no more.
It's really the Patriots and Rams.
And honestly, I would like for the Rams to win. I know that's crazy. People are like, the penalty, whatever. Yeah, the no call. I get it, but I just hate Seattle so much because growing up, they were always in the Saints. Like before the Saints fell off a little bit, they were always in the Saints way. Once the Jimmy Graham trade, like the Legion of Boom, I still have chills at night knowing you going up there to Seattle and knowing the 12th man is rocking. Cam Chancellor's finna knock somebody out the game. Like, so I would rather the Rams win, but you can't tell me Seattle's not they're literally a train on the tracks right now. So Rams, I want the Rams to win. Yes.
We'll see. I would probably take Seattle, and that's crazy for me to think out loud that I would take Seattle because they got Sam Darnold as their quarterback, but Sam Darnold's playing great. So I can't. It's not the same Sam Darnold that you saw in the Jets that looked just completely inept.
And it's like he's playing well, but when he's playing well, you got Rashid Shaheed returning kicks and punts. And
there's a great camera shot from way outside the stadium that shows the inside of the stadium. Because the Seahawks Stadium's got
open.
It's open. Yeah. You can kind of see in on an angle, and you can see Shaheed coming down the sideline, and you can see the crowd just going absolutely bananas. That is crazy stuff.
You know what hurts the most though about this Rashid Shaheed stuff is like he was doing this on the Saints, but the Saints were so bad it never got the attention, and now everybody's like, man, where's this guy been all these years? It's like he was returning kicks and punts for us too. He
was still fast for the Saints. They just lost all the time. Yeah. So now all my talking heads in Chicago can pivot from the Bears to the Cubs. Pitchers and catchers are already out there in Arizona. Let's talk about the Cubs. All right, speaking of baseball, we'll do a live read here for Marucci. We'll come back at 45 minutes ago. Denton Day in 15. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci, speaking of baseball, Marucci's the official bat of Major League Baseball. Started a backyard shed here in 2004. And now, just 22 years later, you're talking about the official bat of Major League Baseball. You can go see where that official bat of Major League Baseball is made. They make 1,200 of them every single day. So if you got a new youth baseball team, youth softball team, and they want to go on a team bonding exercise, go do something fun, go check out Marucci. It's a gem here in Baton Rouge. You can get a campus tour. Go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour. You can book that tour. Do it. You're by yourself or bring a team, bring a class. Great chance to go and see one of the coolest things here in the capital city. Whether it's, again, a full group, a team, a class, just go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour and book your campus tour today. Marucci, the official bat of Major League Baseball.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Denton Day coming up in 10 minutes. Hope your Monday is going smoothly. If you're working like us, we'll get you to the finish line. If you got the day off, hope you're enjoying that with some family and friends. Thanks for making us part of your day. I saw something earlier today that I did not like very much at all, and I'm going to discuss it here. College football expanding the playoff to 24 teams. No. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. We had a 12-team playoff this year that included two teams that have absolutely no business being in a playoff. We were at 12, and we had two teams that don't need to be in. We're going to swell this thing to 24 teams. When I heard that number, I immediately did this exercise in my head. Okay, I'm going to go to the rankings, the last rankings we had, and look at the teams between like 16 and 24 and see who that would be. I understand it's not apples to apples and you're not just going straight by the rankings, but like you understand the exercise, right? If I'm going down towards 24 teams, I'm going to look around the 20 to 24th ranked team and whether or not that's a team that's worthy of a playoff spot. Iowa finished the season ranked 21st in the country. They were 8-4. So you're telling me that we need in college football to allow teams that went 8-4 to compete for the championship? Just say that out loud. Like, what's the threshold here? You're telling me that you have to go 7-5 to be disallowed from this playoff? I realize, again, this is not a literal statement I'm making. I'm kind of just towing the line here. But Iowa played 4 ranked teams this year. They went 0-4. Yet they were ranked 21st. And they would potentially be in a 24-team playoff. Like, I know they beat Vanderbilt in the bowl game. I know. And Vanderbilt was 10-2 and would have been in a playoff, and like you saw what maybe a first-round matchup was going to look like, and it was a 34-27 game, and it was entertaining. Well, it's more football. But I do feel like we need to reward excellence. I think it's absurd that we're going to swell this basketball tournament to 90-something teams. I think that's ridiculous to award some 7-11 SEC team a chance to play in the NCAA basketball tournament. It's absurd to let a team that was tested 4 times this year against ranked teams, lost them all, and that would be a playoff team. I was so for expanding the college football playoff from 4 to 12. I think having more teams interested in November is a very, very good thing. I don't think you completely devalue the Texas A&M Texas game or the Ohio State Michigan game if they reach that spot with 1 loss or undefeated. In a bygone era, you would be playing to get in the Big Ten championship and playing for your life in a regular season game. It was the most important thing you could do. And I still think that playing for that bye is a great thing for teams that have already clinched a spot in the playoff at the end of the regular season. But having more teams interested is good until a certain point. And we're at that point, to me, with 12. Can I be talked to about 16? Sure, I'll entertain the conversation. You start going to 24, I'm out. Like, I wanted to look at the standings in some of these conferences and look at who would be on the border if we were going to give auto bids. And if you look at the ACC, you're talking about a 5-loss Duke team. 4 without the bowl. But again, another 4-loss team. A 4-loss Pitt team. A 4-loss SMU team. This is the top of the ACC. Virginia had 3 losses. They're at the top of the ledger in the ACC. So you're telling me a conference whose number 1 team is 11-3. I got to allow 3 or 4 teams? I got to let a 5-loss Pitt team in? No. Even like looking at the Big Ten, like I just don't know if I'm desperate for a 3 or 4 loss Michigan team to make the playoff. And at a certain point, it just feels like money has just ruined everything. It's already created complete chaos in January and December. And now we're chasing more of it to water down the regular season and the playoff just for more TV revenue. Like, money rules everything. I understand it. But somebody at some point's got to stand up and go, okay, let's do something that includes a little bit of common sense here. And I think the calendar's going to be changed. And I think you're going to get a lack of conference championship games if they can make the money work. But there aren't 24 teams I need to watch compete for a championship. I don't need Tulane and James Madison and North Texas in this bracket. I like that Tennessee went to Ohio State in the first year. I like that Miami went to Texas A&M, that Clemson went to Texas. I think those matchups are cool. I want more matchups on campuses. And I'm okay with swelling the playoff from the 4 because we were leaving out some really good teams there. 24 is just ridiculous. Nobody's asking for this. You want to get in the playoff, keep your losses to 2. I don't need 4-loss Iowa crashing the party because we're trying to get Fox to pay us some more money. It waters down the sport, the regular season and the playoff. And I just don't have any interest in that. Just my thoughts on the matter. We'll see if, in fact, it does come to pass as we move forward. Wild times. We're here in collegiate athletics. We'll crown a champion tonight in Miami. We'll talk to Denton Day about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Really cold this past weekend. Going to be cold this week. Really cold next weekend. But if you like to go play some golf while it's cold out, Swing Easy Golf Club is a great place to go do that. You go on in, get your private bay. It's got comfortable seating options. They bring you a bucket of beers. You can turn the TV on. Fire up whatever golf course you want to play. Talking to a buddy yesterday who was playing TPC Louisiana over at Swing Easy Golf Club. You can do that. Play Pebble Beach. Play that famous course in Georgia. How about Bethpage Black when they played the Ryder Cup? That's on there as well. It's a great place to go hang out, hit some golf shots, independent of the elements, comfortable seating, entertain clients. You can become a member at Swing Easy Golf Club if you want to. Check out the website, swingeasygcbr.com. Membership availability right there on the website. They're on Segan at Perkins at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Crown a champion tonight near South Beach. Be Miami and Indiana from down there in Miami. Been talking college football all season long with our guy Denton Day. We'll do it one more time here on the championship game day. Denton, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Let's kick this ball off. I'm ready to get this thing rocking. Do
they need to change this calendar? Do we feel like the college football season has lost its steam and that everybody's on the NFL, or how do we feel about that?
It definitely needs to change, push back a couple of weeks. I'm fearful because the conversations that are being had with the two most important people in the sport, and Sankey and Petiti, seemingly have the championship for the 25th next year, so nearly a week after what we are currently doing, which is alarming because, I mean, I love the sport as much as anybody. You love the sport as much as anybody, but, going to nearly February is quite the drag, if you will, especially when you have sometimes 10, 11 days between games.
For sure, and that's the case in this instance. Let's talk Indiana first. I got on my soapbox in the first hour talking about 2019 LSU against this Indiana team. It was a stupid conversation to have, but I just got suckered into it. I'm curious your thoughts on just how good this team is. I read a preview, and it says they've got about 6 draftable guys, and most of them are 3rd, 4th round picks. What's your sense on the talent level of this Indiana team?
Oh, my God. Are you a fan of The Office?
Of course.
You remember the scene where Angela takes aspirin because she's about to deal with with Ryan's girlfriend, and
Yes.
she says, I'm just preparing. That's kind of how I feel with these conversations because I know people are going to run to the microphone and say, hey, this is the best team ever because they went 16-0. And I'm like, I don't really care about that. If you want to put them in conversations with maybe that 2018 Clemson team, I'd hear the conversations. I'd push back a little bit, but I'd hear the conversations. If you want to say they're the fourth best team in the past, 10 years, okay, maybe, behind LSU, who's definitively won with that 19 team, I would say probably 2020 Bama would be number 2, 18 Clemson, and then this year's Indiana team, they dominate. There's no doubt about that, but I think it's fair to point out that, in this year of college football, as fun as it's been because of the parity, we've now kind of gone 2 years in a row without a dominating force in the sport. So when you see what Indiana's doing, I do think it's very easy for people to overcompensate their domination because it's just been a little bit of a lull, specifically at the quarterback position for the past 2 years. I think they're a really good team. If they win a championship, this season is certainly an immaculate season. They've been a buzzsaw this entire year. I'm expecting them to win tonight, but I'm not putting them in that same conversation with a team that had a number 1 overall pick, a top 5 overall pick, a guy that is now proven to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And that's just talking about the offense. You put Stingley in there, you put Queen in there. That LSU team had a bunch of dudes, man. That's one of the best teams ever. Whatever your time frame is, that's one of the best teams ever. I'm not sold on Indiana being bad.
That's why I'm pulling for Miami tonight, just to squelch the conversation because I don't really want to hear any more of it. What do you think Indiana's best at?
I think they're best at not making mistakes. And, that is a very nice luxury to have when you take on some of the teams that you played. If you watch that Alabama game, Alabama made a lot of mistakes. If you watch both Oregon games, Oregon made a ton of mistakes. And I can't really point to a situation or a sequence of plays, really, if even dating back to the Big Ten championship, where Indiana has made an abundance of mistakes. They're incredibly disciplined. They do things at a very, very high level, but their best ability is to not screw things up, which, in this year's college football, that's a pretty nice thing because basically everybody else has found ways to screw things up.
Let's talk about their quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. What impresses you about him?
I think he makes some good throws. I definitely think he is an NFL caliber player. I thought some of the throws that he made against Oregon when the game was close were pretty impressive. That Penn State throw that he made to win it was pretty impressive. Some of the throws against Ohio State. So he has the capability of making some big-time throws. I think he's sneaky athletic. He does kind of remind me a little bit of Trevor Lawrence in that he just takes such long strides. It doesn't look like he's running very fast, but because his legs are so long, he covers a lot of ground in a very small amount of time. I do think he's a really good decision maker as well. I kind of like Fernando Mendoza the more that I watch him. I think he's a fun player. I think he's a good player. He's kind of a dweeb, but in a lovable way. He's a dweeb that's kind of fun to be around.
For sure. Do you think that Indiana can block for him tonight?
Yes and no. I think this is the most intriguing element of tonight's game because as good as Indiana has looked, that Oregon offensive line was not very good. Alabama's offensive line was dreadful this entire year.
Yes.
And Ohio State's offensive line was not very good relative to what Ohio State's expectations are. And then you could say the same thing for all the defensive lines. I think this is the best interior front on both sides of the ball that Indiana is going to have seen all year. I do trust that Kurt Cignetti has a plan specifically for Bain and Mesidor. If someone's just beating you on the inside, you're going to have to wear that one on the chin. You just can't let those two guys on the outside beat you. So I'd expect some chips from running backs, from tight ends, quick throws to really test the defense. But you got to be careful because we've seen it. This Miami defense, their DBs, they are hunting, man. They are trying to come for that football. I think they can block for Mendoza, but I definitely think that you will see him under the most pressure that we have so far this postseason.
How big is tonight for Carson Beck?
Man, he's had a fun week, hasn't he? Now people are up in arms because this dude doesn't go to class. I don't know what they've thought college football's been for the past 6 years. A quarterback not going to class? Lord have mercy. Who's gone to class in the last decade or so? I think this is a legacy game for him, kind of the way that last week was. But I've never been sold on him. Even when he had the play that he did to put them over the top, it was a great drive. He earned that play. As soon as he took off, you knew he's getting in there. No one's going to touch him. I've never been sold with him. There's always something missing. I can't, and the problem is I can't put my finger on it because I think he's a bad decision maker, but the past couple games he's made some pretty good decisions. There's just something about him where I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop and for him to have a Louisville kind of performance, an SMU kind of performance, where late in the ball game he's making some really questionable throws.
Do you think that Miami can run the ball on Indiana?
Yes, I think this is the first time that Indiana is really going to have to anchor down in the run game. Mark Fletcher is a dude.
He's good.
He is a legitimate game-changing running back. I think Indiana is going to be in a ball game for the first time in a couple of weeks. I think Miami is that good on the interior, so I do think they'll at least keep the game competitive, but a large portion of that is going to be Mark Fletcher.
Sounds like you like Indiana to win. What's the number look like?
So I got it when it was 7.5, so I would like it to be 7.5, but then I did the double dip, so I did bet Miami to cover 10. So I have a nice middle ground there, and I kind of think that's where it's going to end up landing. If Indiana wins this one 28-20, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think this is going to be the first time where they're actually playing in a game in the third quarter, because I do think Miami is good enough to keep it close up into that point. It's really going to depend, though, how Indiana starts this football game. If they get up 14-0 on Miami, 10-0 on Miami, I think the Hurricanes are in trouble. I don't know that they're equipped with the way that they're currently designed on offense to overcome a multi-score deficit, because Indiana is going to score. Like, we know that they are going to score. It's just a matter of how Miami handles it. So I do think Miami keeps it close enough to keep you up, but I think Indiana ends up winning by 8.
This is a potentially opens the door for a longer answer, but open-ended question here. Like, if Indiana wins tonight by a couple of scores, like, how do you contextualize that with what Indiana football has been, with what Cignetti has done, and then this era of college football and what it means for everybody in college football?
It is one of the great stories of the last few years. I don't think there's any doubting that. And I do think it has exposed a little bit of bad actors for those that maybe don't love the sport as much as they told us that they love the sport. If Indiana turns this thing around, it's a massive deal. But it's also going to cause some schools a lot of money, because not everybody has Curt Cignetti. I do think he is a special, one-of-a-kind type of coach. And there's going to be programs. I look at, like a Rutgers, if I just stay in the Big Ten, right? I look at like a Rutgers, I'm in the D.C., Maryland area. I look at a Maryland. These teams are going to think, hey, well, if we have the right amount of money, we can maybe do what Indiana can do. And that is not entirely accurate. I think a lot of it is on the coach. Cignetti has done a really great job, but he's also had, a very similar staff follow him from job to job to job. It'll be interesting the next couple of years to see what his coaching tree starts to look like, because a lot of the dudes that are with him, they were with him at Madison, they were with him at Elon, and eventually some other teams are going to come knocking. But I do think this is kind of a showcase of this is what happens when everybody has money. We, for the longest time, the SEC and very certain schools, Ohio State always had money, Michigan always had money, Penn State always had money. There are a few other schools, your Clemson's, Florida State's, to a degree, Miami, they just spent it poorly. But this is just kind of a showcase of what happens when everybody has a good amount of money that they can divvy up. But I don't know that everyone's going to be able to do what they've done every single year. This to me does feel like, and sorry for rambling, but this to me does feel like when Bobby Bowden started to do unthinkable things at Florida State, it does kind of feel like Curt Cignetti is almost a modern-day Bobby Bowden based on what he's doing in the early stages at Indiana.
I intentionally asked it for a long answer. It's a fascinating discussion point. I'm glad to get your thoughts on that. Enjoy the football tonight, Denton. We appreciate you jumping aboard every Monday. We'll do it again starting in the fall.
Yep, Hunt, appreciate it as always, my friend.
Denton Day, SiriusXM's College Football Overtime. Let me elaborate on that a little bit. But first, I'll remind you about my friends over at Oxner and their Eat Fit Alcohol-Free for 40 Challenge. Registration's open, so if you're looking for a fresh start for this winter and into the spring, the Alcohol-Free for 40 Challenge is back. It's a 40-day reset to help you sleep better, boost your energy, maybe feel a little bit better than you have. Not about giving up anything forever. Just seeing how your body responds when you give it a little bit of a break. You can do some pre- and post-challenge metrics like body composition, blood pressure, optional labs, and just actually see how your body changes over the course of 40 days. People who have done this challenge report clearer skin, more focus, brighter mood, better sleep. Often that happens within the first couple of weeks. So Oxner's Eat Fit supports you with zero-proof drink ideas, nutrition tips, and a community of people that are all on the challenge together. Registration's open, so whether you want to do it officially or take that challenge from home, you can check it out at alcoholfreefor40.com. That's the number 40, alcoholfreefor40.com. I have long had a thought, and it's been proven out, like college football is for about 12, 13 schools. That's it. And I always say, like, there's a reason they don't win championships at Kansas State or Cal or Boston College. There's a reason they don't win any championships at Arizona State, Purdue, and Pitt. Like, you don't have the geographic recruiting advantages. You don't have the history and the tradition and the facilities. You don't have the passion. There's a set of criteria that have to be met for you to win a national championship. And the schools that fit them are Ohio State and Bama and Georgia and Texas and Clemson and LSU and Auburn and Florida State. And like they fit those criteria. And you don't fit at Kansas. You don't fit at Minnesota. It doesn't work at Arkansas. Or it doesn't work at Arizona State. And I've always said that. And I've never been proven wrong because every time we crown a national champion, it's one of those 12 or 13 schools. And if Miami doesn't win tonight, then that changes. And it probably has already changed if we're being candid about it. Because Ole Miss is in the Final Four and because Indiana's blowing teams out. Indiana's beaten Oregon twice. Indiana beat Ohio State. Like, that thing that I leaned on forever and ever, it's just like you can't lean on that anymore because you've got revenue sharing, so everybody can leave to go places for money, and you got the transfer portal, so everybody's a free agent, and you can't keep stockpiling the depth that made teams as good as they were and prevented other teams from getting better because all those players were going to certain places. So it's just a different era. It's a different time, and we may not ever go back. And so if you spend your money properly and you get the right coach, you can get it done. And maybe Kurt Cignetti's that good and that this is a one-off and actually you can't. But it feels like Ole Miss is proving that wrong. So I'm curious to see how it unfolds tonight. I've told y'all I'm picking Indiana to win the game. I'm pulling for Miami to win the game. But something that I've stuck to my entire life, that college football is only for 13, 15 schools, that gets shattered tonight if Indiana goes into Miami and wins that game. Because Indiana, not in that group. not in the Georgia, Alabama, Texas, Clemson, Florida State, LSU, Auburn boat. They will be if they win tonight, though. Crazy stuff. All right, we'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. You can find the entire inventory online at fabrychevrolet.com. So whether you're looking for a new vehicle, a pre-owned vehicle, they got you covered at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. The Fabry family has been at this for 35 years. You know, when you work with the Fabry family, you're going to get fantastic customer service. You're going to get a fantastic buying experience. You'll get service after the sale as well because they've been doing it for more than 3 decades. So you can go check out their newest point, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. They got tons of Chevy Tahoes, Chevy Silverados on the lot. They got your GMC Sierras, GMC Yukon, GMC Denali. Go by and see them. Make the short drive to St. Francisville. Check out that inventory online at fabrychevrolet.com. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville or online at fabrychevrolet.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Looking forward to hopping in the old car, heading down I-10 this evening. Going to be speaking to St. Anne Men's Club in Metairie this evening. I want to talk a little LSU baseball. I said, folks, you want to talk LSU baseball? I'll be there to talk LSU baseball. Okay. Full disclosure, I did not realize when I committed that it was the same night as the national championship game.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah. We cleared that up. It's fine. Not that big a deal. I really genuinely don't care who wins the Indiana-Miami game, and they said they'll have it on, so I'll pay attention to that, and I might be able to listen to it on our airwaves on the way back, probably catch the second half at home. But looking forward to getting down to Metairie and chatting with St. Anne's Men's Club about some LSU baseball. So if you're in Metairie or you're part of the St. Anne's Men's Club and you'd like to hear some LSU baseball, come see us tonight. Looking forward to getting down there and doing that. We got one order of business left to go today, though. Let's take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, let's start it off with, they already kind of spoke about it, but the Buffalo Bills fired Sean McDermott on Monday after another failed postseason run. So McDermott leads Buffalo with a 98-50 record, but an 8-8 postseason record, including 2 AFC Championship appearances, obviously both stumped by Patrick Mahomes. But the Buffalo make the right move. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I mean, I understand you're in this window and you've got this. I think this is an overused term. He is a generational player at quarterback for your franchise. There's not one of those that comes along every 20 years.
Not a lot of Josh Allen.
It just doesn't happen a lot. So you have that, and you haven't gotten to the Super Bowl. I get it. I would suggest this is the best of the fired NFL coaches from this cycle. It's the best crop ever. Yeah. John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, Kevin Stefanski, and McDermott.
Sean McDermott.
I mean, those are good. Everyone thinks they're good coaches.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Stefanski already got a job.
Yeah, I mean quickly. So everybody thinks they're good coaches, and they all got fired. So here we are.
Yeah, man, and it's just like at a certain point, this is kind of he's the scapegoat at this point. You're not gonna get rid of Josh Allen.
No.
So it's like somebody.
They scored 30 points on one of the best defenses in the league, and their defense is banged up, and they got. I mean, at the very least, at the worst, they got screwed by the officials. At the very least, it was very unfortunate what happened to them.
Yes, most definitely. So. Darian Mensah, a lot of Tulane people listen there. I know who this is. So he's entering the transfer portal again. Mensah submitted his request on Friday ahead of the midnight deadline. The quarterback is entering his second year of his 2-year deal with Duke that will pay him up to $4 million in 2026. So listen to this. If Mensah leaves Duke, sources tell ESPN that his contract grants the university's exclusive NIL rights, which would prevent Mensah from earning revenue sharing at his next school, unless Duke terminates that contract. So, is Miami getting Mensah? Take it or leave it?
I'll take it. They got to get somebody,
I'm
sure they gave him a call and tampered with him and said, "Hey, come on down." That's just the way that things go. Miami struck out really in the transfer portal with all the big name quarterbacks, which they've done a great job, obviously, with Cam Ward and Carson back last couple of years. So yeah, I think that's probably is where he'll end up going, and they'll have to try to make the money work one way or another.
Oh no, I've heard he's got an Adidas deal on the table if he goes to Miami, so they're going to make that money. So. Speaking of quarterbacks, do you know what's going on with Tennessee? Because we just see Miami. Like, did they get a quarterback yet?
I mean, Aguilar's coming back.
Oh,
right?
He is? Okay, I didn't know if he was coming back or not. Okay.
I believe he's got another year.
Because I've just been seeing them. They want to Levitt bad. So I've been after the Levitt.
Maybe I'm wrong. Let's look that up.
Yeah. So while that's going on, LeBron James, his 21-year All-Star streak as being a starter has come to an end today, as he has not been announced as a starter for the All-Star team. This is a new day and age in the NBA. Take it or leave it.
I will take it.
Yeah. I'll take it.
And I was looking it up. I'm an idiot. Aguilar is not coming back. He was a graduate transfer, and he was a senior, so he's not coming back. So, yeah, I don't know what the deal is on Rocky Top. I need to figure that out because LSU plays in Tennessee in November of next year. It'll be chilly up there, but they don't have a quarterback. That's a good thing. I didn't consider that when Levitt went to Knoxville. Not only are you talking about potentially LSU not getting him, you would have to play him at that point. So, yeah, that would not have been awesome. So, yeah. I forgot what you said about the NBA, but Joey Aguilar's not coming back.
Yeah, basically, LeBron, his 21-year streak of being a starter in the All-Star team has over. He has not been announced as a starter for the first time in 21 seasons.
I did not realize, even though I should have realized, it's pretty easy to realize, he was All-NBA 21 years in a row.
Yeah.
Do you know how ridiculous that is?
It will never be done again.
No, it will not.
Never.
21 years straight All-NBA.
Yeah.
He was All-NBA in his teens and his 40s.
Yeah. Just think about that.
Absurd.
Think about what you were doing at 18 and thinking about being a professional on the highest level and having to live up to being the chosen one.
I was playing Mario Kart.
Oh.
Drinking some Keystone Lights.
Oh, Hunt, if you would have gave me $1 million at 18, I'll be dead right now. So I just shout out LeBron James. So that's it for take it or leave it.
Had 3 different gaming systems set up in the dorm room. Shout out Herget Hall. Room 201. Stellar.
Oh, listen, man. We had the PS4 going. We had a lot of 2K, a lot of
I had an Xbox, PlayStation, N64, and GameCube. All 4.
Oh, y'all were 2-tapping.
We had all 4 in the dorm room.
The benefits of free electricity.
Mm-hmm, that's us. Just clown show in Herget 201.
Wouldn't change it, though.
No.
Wouldn't do it again. Wouldn't do it again.
Would not change it. Incredible. My roommate used to go down and break the door handle in the bathroom so that it wouldn't lock, so he didn't have to bring his key to the bathroom. Wow. And then we all got an assessment at the end of the semester for the repairs. Oh, college. What a time. I'm done with that. All right, that's it for us on this Monday. If you missed any of the show, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Hunt on LSU, Hunt on Saints, and, of course, the Hunt Palmer Show. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. It's all about the U, baby. Let's go Miami. Crown a champion tonight. We'll be talking about it tomorrow on a Tuesday edition. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. If your home was built, say, 1990, 1995, probably has a huge jacuzzi in it that you don't even use, right? Something David says he's seeing a lot of these days. And that's a lot of space, those big 90s jacuzzis. Take it out. It's got plenty of room to put in a gorgeous glass walk-in shower. Completely changes the functionality of your bathroom, completely changes the aesthetic of your bathroom, add a little bit of value to your home. Let David Duvall and his team come in and do it. No job too big or too small for the folks at One Bath and Closets. Want to do a tub to shower conversion? They can do it for you. That process sometimes only takes 3 to 5 days. Go to onebathandclosets.com, request that free consultation, sit down with David, and start that process today. It's One Bath and Closets online at onebathandclosets.com.